He is so wonderful. Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson is an associate minister here, and he's on the leadership council, and he's in big demand. He's a Jedi. What else? Let's see. Teacher, Renaissance man, many talents, many times over minister. Please join me in welcoming Reverend Dr. Raymont.
So how is everyone today?
Great.
Like how many times do we go through this? Sooner or later, we'll all get it together. So we're going to try this one more time. How are we all today?
Great.
See, now, I don't understand why we had to do that twice. Because I know it was there the first time, and I know it was probably because we were a little shy. It's Sunday morning, but push that aside. Because we got some serious business to discuss. How often have you sat down to think about what is God's will for your life? Like, is that something that we, Deborah gave us a great introduction to this idea of what is God's will for my life? And one of the things she said was, well, God wants what you want. And that's true. However, there's a deeper level of what that even means. So just off the top, let's ask, just think about for a second, what does God want? What is God's will? There's this prayer you may have heard. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done.
Thy will be done. Now, when I was a Christian way back in the day, I used to sit down and I used to hit that line and say, but I don't know. Like, my teachers are telling me I'm supposed to go to college and do this. And when I was in 1984, don't judge me, 1984, I was a senior in high school, and I wanted to work for Hollywood. I wanted to do movie special effects. I'm a Star Wars baby. I saw Star Wars, and it's like, oh, George Lucas. It blew my mind. I want to do that. I want to create other worlds and stuff so people can lose themselves in this other world. And an art teacher tells me, for what? You don't have the talent. You don't have the skill. You'll never succeed. Oh, thank you. So I don't know what to do now. So I say, fine. I still want to do it. So if you're telling me I don't have the artistic skills to do it, then I'm going to go to art school. Apply to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh. And he still says, why would you waste your time and your money? You're not going to graduate. You're not a very good artist. So as a Christian, I started praying. God, what is your will? What am I supposed to do? Hello? Okay. So I get no answer. But I get inspired. So I go through the Art Institute, and I do that for a little while, and it's okay, but I didn't go to Hollywood because I'm staying in Pittsburgh to help take care of my father and stuff, but I get inspired to go back to school. What? But I go back to school, and I go to school, and I become an art teacher, and I become an art teacher for a couple of years, and I'm doing that, and then I get inspired to do something else. So here we are, 10 degrees later. We are told, go to college, do whatever that is. Like our culture, that's what we say. Go to college, get a degree, and then do that. But I've got 10. What am I supposed to do? So I do all of them. And the reason I do all of them is because I know that there is this higher power, this thing called inspiration, this thing called whatever it is, like Reverend Alex said, we call it by many names. Whatever that is not separate from who and what we are. So that means whatever God's will is your will. There is no separation between it and you. For example, there's a gentleman by the name of Joel Goldsmith. I'm going to read something for you. If I can untangle these for a moment, talk amongst yourselves. Don't judge me. Keep telling me this stuff. Y'all want to do it again. Ready? So in his book, Rising in Consciousness, the allness of God appears individually as you. You are not a part of God. You are not a particle of God. It is not like a drop with the ocean. You are the allness of God. The allness of God appears individually as you. It is like the allness of the number 12 appearing in every number 12, whether it is 12 pies or 12 grains of sand. Always the entire number contains the total value of 12. You are all mind, all life, all the intelligence. You could not be more life, more immortality. You are immortality. You have always existed and you will always exist. And you cannot be more immortal than immortality. You cannot be more truthful than truth. Therefore, God's infinite intelligence is your individual intelligence. All that it is, all that the universe is right here, right now, present. Not just in us, because that's what we say. Oftentimes when we pray or we talk about God being in us. Or we talk about God being with us. But very rarely do we elevate that to talk about, but God is incarnating itself as us. So whatever your will is, it's God's will for itself as you. So whatever it is you want to do, whatever you are inspired to do, the reason you're inspired to do it is because this thing called inspiration, another name for God, is welling up in itself as you to do what is yours to do what is God's business to do as you. There is no separation. But see, what we do is we get real comfortable separating because it's easier. It's easier to play small. It's easier to be human and nothing more. It's easier to sit on the fence and wonder, what should I do? Should I go to college? Should I do this job? Should I break up? Should I do this? Should I go here? Should I go there? It's easier to be in that teeter-totter place. Why did Yeshua say, either be hot or be cold, do not be lukewarm? But it's easier to put one foot on one side of the fence and one foot on the other side of the fence and straddle the fence like, I can't make up my mind, I can't make up my mind, I can't make up my mind. Because in this place of limbo, you don't have to choose. You don't have to be one or the other. But the moment you choose, it's time to be about it. The moment you choose to get the job, everything, the universe doesn't just conspire. When we talk about the universe is conspiring for your good. No, it's not. The universe is conspiring for its own good as you. Because it's not this separate thing like, what does Deborah want to do? Let me bring all the forces together to help her. No. Let me bring all that I am as the entirety of the universe to this finite demonstration of the entirety of the universe to demonstrate what all of I am. There is no separation. Once we choose. I'll give you an example. Several years ago, I go to Celebration Center and, I'm watching the practitioners and stuff, and I get this inkling in here. It's like, but I wanted to be a practitioner way back when I first found this teaching, and I really don't want to go back to school. I'm tired of school. So I talked to the minister there, and she's like, well, just take the foundations class and we'll see. So I'm like, fine. Make a choice. I take the foundations class. And while in the foundations class, a couple of the practitioners are like, well, it's very difficult, and it's going to be this, and it's going to be that. And something in here said, once I choose that this is what I want, it's going to happen. So I let it go. See, there's this idea that Maxine sort of introduced to us, letting go. And the other thing that we do, oftentimes we have this phrase, let go and
Let God.
Let God. And we say this from a consciousness of there is some other thing called God that we are letting go into. No, we are letting go of the small self and letting God, the higher self, then step in. It's the same thing where if I want to paint, or I want to draw, or I want to sculpt, or I want to sing, my lower self says, look, you're not a very good singer. You're not a very good musician. You're not a very good parent. You're not a very good artist. You're not a very good... And I play small. And when I let go of playing small, then the musician steps forward and says, but I can sing. Then the parent steps forward and says, but I am a parent. But then the artist steps forward and says, but I can sculpt, I can draw. I am this. It's not some outside thing that when I let go of the small self, hello, it's inspiration, I'm here for you. It doesn't come from some external thing. But we have to let go of this portion of our mind that believes that this is all that we are. So letting go and letting God is letting go and letting you be what you are called to be. So, I let go. And there's this part of me that says, I choose that this is what I want, a way will be made. So then I leave Celebration Center and I come over here and Reverend Alex and I were talking and we're meeting at the Bakery Cafe every day after service and and Reverend Alex says, so, practitioner, 2 years, I'm going to talk to them and because you've been doing this for a while and have the entire first year waived. You can do that. Yeah, it's called a variance, and because you already know this stuff. There's no reason for you to have to go through that. So then my mind says, if she can do it, are you willing to do the other year? Oh, yeah. Yeah, because for me, that's a sign. So then we start that, and she says, well, you should already be an affiliate minister, so let's start this path. And we're going, and it's like 37 years later is what it felt like. It's like, oh, wow, this is taking an awfully long time. Paperwork and interviews and paperwork and waiting and waiting and waiting. But it happened. So between the time that I received my practitioner license and the time that I received my affiliate minister license was a year. This should have been 2 and some, and this should have been 4 and some. When we choose, everything starts to conspire to say, because the universe is always saying yes. If I choose to be in a relationship that is not serving me, if I choose to be at a job that is not serving me, if I choose to do whatever it is to eat in a way that's not serving me, if I choose, the universe is going to say yes. Yes. Because the universe, another thing we often refer or say is, if the universe says something to you and you don't pay attention, the cosmic 2x4 is going to... That's a new thought twist on the anthropomorphic God that judges. There is no universe outside of us judging us, saying, bad choice, good choice, not so good choice, not so really, how did you choose? There is no outside force that's doing this. There is no universe looking down on us saying, why am I, as Maxine, choosing to do, let me guide her. Doesn't work that way. Inspiration can guide us in a way that says, because we are inspired to do different things. I'm not inspired to pick up that instrument and play because all of you would leave. It's not going to work. He's a master at it. I'm not. So I am not inspired to do that. I am not inspired to do certain things. I'm inspired to eat the cakes because we have a baker in the room. I'm inspired to eat, but I'm not inspired to bake them or make them the way that she is. Inspiration in me, the universe in and as me, has its own thing that it wants to do and be. So check this out. And I'm going to have to read the specific translation for this because you tell me what this sounds like to you. O thou, from whom the breath of life comes, who fills all realms of sound, light, and vibration, may your light be experienced in the utmost holiest. Your heavenly domain approaches. Let your will come true in the universe, all that vibrates, just as on earth, that which is material and dense. Give us wisdom, understanding, assistance for our daily needs. What does that sound like? Science, mind. Okay.
Lord's Prayer.
The Lord's Prayer. It's the Lord's Prayer in Aramaic. That's the basic translation of the Lord's Prayer in Aramaic. What we say as the Lord's Prayer is very different. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Abun de bashmaya nekadish shamuch tete malkutah. Nechoi tibiana icona di bashmaya af ba'araha. Havlan lachma da sunkenan yamana washboklan halbein wachtehein icona daf chanan. Shwakanayal hayabein. Wela tachlan lenusuna ela patzan menbisha. Mitur de lahe malkuta. Wachela watesh bukta. Ala alam almin amen.
Oh my goodness.
That's the way it originally sounded. That's the way it originally sounded. The vibration of that and the vibration of our Father which art in heaven, two different vibrations. Now when I learned this, while saying this, I said, you know what, let me, for my own sake of, let me experiment. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. What if it's our Father, that which is divine, the one mind, love and law, which art in heaven. Being the truth of my being, I acknowledge that the I am is what I am. Hallowed be thy name. That which is the very nature of all that God is must therefore be my nature. I am called by that which Spirit is. Thy kingdom come. The mind of God being my mind, I must therefore be an active ruler of my life experience. I know that my thoughts are creative and powerful. Thy will be done. It is precisely because of this power that what I refer to as the higher will, the divine will, my will, are one and the same. What I want and set forth is what the universe says yes to, in earth as it is in heaven. This sacred yes must therefore demonstrate both within my being as in the world of effects, as above, so below, as within, so without. Give us this day our daily bread, because the universe says yes. That which I need is already provided. I have the full backing of the universe conspiring for itself as me, and all needs are met before I ask. And forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. As I stand in oneness, I release all through the energy of forgiveness. I set myself free by forgiving. In other words, by letting go. And lead us not into temptation. The world of effects may tempt or lure me into forgetfulness, but I am always guided because I am always whole, perfect, and complete. And I surrender to this truth. Deliver us from evil. The only evil is the misuse, misunderstanding of spiritual power. And the more I know this, the less evil can I see or experience in my life and in the world. Amen. It is done. When I changed the Lord's Prayer to that for me, that was my version of the Lord's Prayer, then everything else in the world started to change, because it wasn't about judging. It wasn't about something else's will. It was about, what do I want? With the same clarity that if someone comes to you and says, you want a dream house, what do you want the house to look like? And you say, well, 3-bedroom? No, 4, what do I as the architect draw? I can't draw 3? Oh, 5? Oh. I might as well just keep the eraser out. But the moment you say, I want 4 bedrooms, 1 master bedroom, 1 master and a half, because this is what I got planned. I want another bedroom here, I want a guest room, I want 4 bathrooms and a half a bathroom, I want a jacuzzi, and I want this, and you have clarity with what you want. I'm like, I got it. Draw, paint, is that it? No. No. Move this here, make this, got it. Now, that's it. Now, I know what I need to gather together to make this a reality. Meaning a flesh and solid thing reality. But the thing is, it was already a reality in that person's mind before I drew it. That's the only reason you can see it and say yay or nay. Because you've already seen it in your mind's eye. That's why it says in the magazine that Reverend Alex mentioned, we experience heaven to the degree that we become conscious of it. We experience God's will to the degree that we become conscious that there is no separate will, but there is only one will. There is only one. God is all there is. And if it is all there is, then what we are inspired to move through and be and do is the universal impulse wanting to be and move and serve in that way as itself. But we, small mind we, lowercase I, lowercase s self, that has to be surrendered. It has to die. And none of us likes the concept of death. But everything, yesterday, St. Patrick's Day, it's dead. It's gone. It is no more. That St. Patrick's Day will never be here again. Ever. The moment you have read a book and closed it, the book will never be the same book. You can never step in the same river twice. So every ending is a death. It is a transition from one chapter to another, one day to another, one meal to another. Because I don't care how many times you go to New York City and you go to Serendipity and you have their frozen hot chocolate. Sorry, I had a moment because we get ready to go to New York for my birthday and I'm already debating. But nonetheless, it will never be the same because I'm never the same. Even if whatever, I'm never the same. And for as long as I am always shifting, evolving, growing, changing, expanding, then my experience of life has to match to meet the level of consciousness that I'm at. So when I hear Stephen Hawking made his transition, do I say, oh, that's such a shame? Why is that the consciousness that I go into? Could only be because I feel that death is a bad thing. Oh, that's such a shame. What's such a shame? Did he transition? Oh, it's a good question. What is a shame? It's a shame that he suffered. Did he suffer? Or is that your judgment of his life as an ableist? Because you can walk. He couldn't. You can speak. He couldn't. Are you projecting your ableist ideology saying, it's such a shame to be blind. It's just a shame to be deaf. When if you ask a deaf person, if you could hear, would you? Nope. If you could see, nope. Those who are with who and what they are fine. But what consciousness are we seeing them at? Rather than hear about what happened with these shootings and the youth who are stepping forward, rather than about whatever that is, the NRA, what is the consciousness that then steps forward and says, but what is mine to do? Because if there is only God, then God was the shooter. If there is only God, then God was Hitler. What does my consciousness do with reconciling that? At some point, I have to reconcile. There's a passage in the Bible where it says, so check this out, if you're taking your gift to the altar, before you go to the altar, lay it down and go reconcile with your brother or sister or whomever has something against you. And so you set it down and you go to reconcile. But the thing is, we see the Bible metaphysically, allegorically, metaphorically. So it is not about going to reconcile with someone else, but your brother and sister in consciousness. Where are your thoughts against you? Where are your ideologies and paradigms that are judging you? Because ultimately, it doesn't matter what someone else says. It matters what we accept. Because I could tell Veronica, I could say, I really don't like that red sweater. And she has two options. She either confirms and says, I don't like it either. Or, dude, you don't know what you're talking about. This is a beautiful red, especially on me. Like, it's one or the other. We either refute or we accept. So no matter what someone says to us, we either refute or we accept. We say, but I'm a loser. Refute or accept. But I'm not skilled. Refute or accept. Because whichever is the will that is going to happen. If I accept it, thy will be done. you are a loser. That is what we will manifest. But I'm not talented. I'm not skilled. I don't have the thy will be done. That is what we will manifest. Because everything about us is now moving through the world as someone who believes this. So sitting down and really getting clarity. What do I want? With the same clarity that an architectural renderer needs. What do I want? And then, do I feel that I deserve it? Do I feel that I deserve this thing that I want? Do I feel that I deserve to have this business that I want? Do I feel that I deserve it? And if not, if I don't feel it, then do what you need to do to find that. Get a practitioner, get a minister, find a therapist, something, because you have to work through that, because if not, we stay stuck. We stay here. And this is not the healthy place. So let go. And understand that there is a place in us, through us, and as us that is already whole, that is already perfect, that is already complete. That from here to the souls, you are love. From here all the way back to every quantum particle and atom, you are pure light and consciousness. But you have to know that. So your will is done. Let's pray. Anchoring into this place where Yeshua spoke of the kingdom of heaven being within, going within to that place of this singular breath, knowing that we are not breathing ourselves, but that the universe is breathing itself as us. And with the same trust and confidence that we know that this next breath is there, we need not search for the breath. We need not wonder if there will be oxygen and breath. We simply surrender and we breathe. We don't breathe shallow because we don't want to use it all up. We don't breathe shallow because we feel we don't deserve. We breathe because that is what life calls us to do. And so in this expansiveness of taking a breath and trusting and knowing, I speak this word. God is all there is. Source, love, light, joy is all there is. Therefore, it is right here, in, through, and as me. In, through, and as every individual in this room, this building, this planet, and beyond. God is all. And knowing that it is all that it is must also be present in, through, and as me. So if I say that God is wise, then so must I be. If I say that God is brilliant and creative, then so am I. For all that it is, I am. As Joel Goldsmith said, it is not simply a particle in a wave, but it is the entirety of the wave. God is all there is. And knowing this, I speak this word in gratitude because I know that God, being all there is, already knows what we desire. It already knows our will. And in this moment, we surrender to that. In this moment, we yield and allow clarity of mind to come forth. Our inspiration, our vision, our motivation now rises to match this level of what is mine to do. Rises to match this level of consciousness that Yeshua spoke of. Rises to match this level of consciousness that Buddha had. Rises to this level of consciousness that gave Nelson Mandela the forbearance and ability to do what he did, and Martin Luther King to do what he did. It rises and matches this level of consciousness that is who and what we are. And so I release this word back into the law from whence it came, because I already know that these are not the words of Raymont Anderson, but these are the words of the universe, speaking about itself, speaking through itself, and now placing these words back into itself. They cannot come back void and empty, but must be fully formed, because they are already fully formed in consciousness. So in trust and confidence, I declare and I demand proof of what I know. I release knowing it is done. I release knowing it is so. And so it is.